Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Harnessing the Power of People Through Effective Meeting Facilitation. My name is Pete Duffy, and today we are joined here at the Energy Hub to talk about the art of agenda creation. To get things started, I'm going to share a quote by Dr. Stephen Covey. Stephen Covey is the author of the best-selling book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Dr. Covey said, "But all things are created twice. First, there is the mental, or the first creation. Following that is the physical, or the second creation. In all things this happens. And so it is with agenda creation." So today we're going to talk about mental visualization as it relates to 4 key focus areas. We're going to talk again about purpose, topics, people planning, and communication. So now last week when we were together, we talked about the paramount importance of having clarity of purpose. We talked about the fact that it answers the question, so what exactly do we need to accomplish or achieve as a result of our getting together? Okay. Clarity of purpose is like a bright light that shines throughout the entire energy hub or the meeting place. And that light focuses people on what is truly important. What are we about to achieve? I know many of you watching this maybe smile when you think about the meetings that you've been in. When the meeting was going in a certain direction, all of a sudden it went left real fast. And you're thinking to yourself, what are we doing? What happened? And then somebody raises their hand and says, I think we're a little bit off course. And then the meeting gets back on track again. And that's what clarity of purpose is for. Now, for the purpose of this particular meeting, I've created a fictitious purpose. And this purpose will guide us through the narrative throughout our conversation today. So the purpose of this meeting is to help our team to be highly confident in handling difficult client calls and to leave the meeting with a feeling of empowerment, motivation, and togetherness. That's the purpose. Now, the topics flow down from the purpose. And the topics are all about the subjects that we are going to discuss. There are 2 foundational criteria that are important within topics. First of all, they are foundational or supportive of the purpose. They actually help you to actualize the purpose. Second is that topics need to be goal-oriented, which means that at the end of a session, whether it be 10 minutes or an hour, people will say, we actually did what we set out to do. We accomplished it. Now, following on the narrative of the purpose, I have created 2 topics. Topic one is we're going to learn steps to handle a tough call. Number 2, we're going to put learning into action by role playing. Now, the title of this entire series is Harnessing the Power of People. And so it is. And the question is, how do we harness the power of people? It is so important because people like Tom and Jill, Corinne, Steve, Marcia, Sam and Jane, right? They all, given their special nature, their temperaments, their skills, can enrich this agenda creation process in ways that nobody else can. Well, at the same time, by involved in the process, it actually empowers them to grow both personally and professionally. Pretty awesome. But how do we think about how we utilize these people within the process? So in my career, I have created what I call a people critical thinking checklist. And this checklist helps me to figure out kind of where to best place a person within the meeting process for their good. So these are some of the questions that I ask myself. I start with, who are people who I can open my mind to? That's a funny question, isn't it? Well, let me give you an example of why that question is important. First, when I was a leader at Pfizer, I had two people on my team, Chuck and George, who were also past managers and leaders. They were very smart. They'd been around the block. They're good people. And so I made the decision that I was going to share my purpose, my topics, what's on my mind with them so that they could give me feedback. That did two things. It significantly increased the trust and the confidence that we had with each other. And at the same time, by letting them know what was on my mind, they could actually carry out perhaps parts of the meeting if for some reason I couldn't be there. Keeps them in the communication loop. It's a very good thing to do. Other questions of who should run the sessions? Who do I want to recognize? What are success stories that can be shared? Now, we've got to go a little bit deeper down into critical thinking about people. And when I'm thinking about who I want to share information with, let's think about the people who's have job and career maturity, right? People that would really benefit from knowing that kind of information. What about people's dreams and aspirations, their job goals, their career goals, their strengths? How can we build on those strengths? And lastly, what are my observations of their performance? Now I think about all these things, and then I place those people where I think they could be best utilized. And I call it people selection. I'll take you through this. First of all, in terms of sharing what's on my mind, my purpose, topics, things like that, I'm going to share that with Jane. She's a senior member of our team. She's a vice president, very intelligent lady, and she wants to really understand how she too can harness the power of people within a meeting setting. And so I can open my mind to her about what I'm thinking about. Now, as it relates to topic number one, it's very interesting. At first I thought, well, maybe I will just have one person run that workshop. Then I thought, maybe I can use two. So Steve is very, very good at difficult phone calls, resolving those things. Now, Maria, on the other hand, not so much. So what I think that I'm going to do is I'm going to have Maria work with Steve in creating this workshop. That way she can understand his mindset. And then, at the same time, they can give the workshop together. She'll be even sharper with it relates to this skill, having worked with him and presented it. There's nothing like learning and presenting to help your memory and your skill sets. Now, the second topic around the role playing, in this case, Corinne is actually very good at it as well, but Tom, not so much. So, I'm going to have Corinne play the person who's taking the call, and then Tom is going to be the angry customer. That way, Tom can watch Corinne as she works through her process. They all learn, and then we split everybody up into pairs and we role play back and forth to get better skilled at this area. The third is around recognition and success. Now, I'm going to pick Jill for that because Jill just got an amazing email communication from one of her clients who told her that she did an incredible job with a very, very difficult situation. I'm going to have Jill share that over lunch. I'm going to recognize her over lunch as well. So what have we done thus far? We've talked about the importance of clarity of purpose, how the topics flow down and actualize that purpose. And now we just spent the last few minutes talking about harnessing the power of people to enrich the agenda and also to help empower them to be more skilled, both personally and professionally. The last key area of focus here is around communication. Critical. Now, the last time we were together, I shared with you with kind of a role play of a head of client services who was asked by his manager, Tom, if he could run a workshop at a meeting that was taking place the next day. Well, obviously he wasn't very happy about it, wasn't very confident, and honestly, he didn't feel like he was very respected or valued given that short amount of time and knowing what it would really take to do the job well because, well, he wanted to be good at what he did. He always does. He's a professional. So my mantra is, when it comes to communication, is do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Let them know as soon as possible about what is going on. Now, specifically about sending a final agenda out. I normally think about sending the final agenda out within, say, 48 hours. I send it out via email, and I also attach it to the meeting invite. And at the top of the meeting invite, I have it on, I say, see meeting agenda final, right? So everybody has the ability to access it and to read through it, and they can get back to us with any questions well before the meeting actually begins. The second piece is a little bit more nuanced, and that's around how soon and how should you tell a person that you would like them to handle a certain topic within the meeting. Now, first of all, I always say that it's really important to talk to people face to face if you can about what you want them to do. Don't do it over email, because this is an opportunity to engage them in a very positive way and to help position what you're asking them to do in light of their performance. For instance, if they've shared with you that, hey, you know, I really want to be promoted from where I am to supervisor, then you can say, I thought about what you said and I couldn't think of a better thing for you to be able to do than do this workshop with Mike, because he can really help you improve in this area. And they will be excited and actually will be impressed that you actually thought of them in this way. Now, the rule of thumb in terms of letting people know stems around the idea that know your people and respect and value your people. So if there's something that's not very complex, maybe it'll only take 10 minutes, and the person that you're asking to do it is mature in that skill set, then maybe you don't need as much lead time. But if it's maybe the opposite, then you may need more lead time. But go back to saying to yourself, when would I want to know so I could have enough time to prepare? Now, as it relates to success stories, within 24 hours is fine, because usually people have success stories at the top of their mind because they're proud of it. So, what have we accomplished today? Well, first of all, we talked about the mental visualization and how to use that in the art of agenda creation. We came back again to the need, always the need for clarity of purpose. That the topics that you select should be foundational and should actualize the purpose itself. That it is incredibly important to harness the power of your people, to bring them in, to enrich the meeting process, and to empower them and to make them feel great about how good they are becoming. And then finally, the importance of timely communication, as it shows that you value your people and you respect your people. So I want to thank you for joining us today for harnessing the power of people through effective meeting facilitation, the art of agenda creation. I want to invite you to join us for the final episode of this series next week, which is Making It Happen, Game Time, Facilitating That Meeting. Again, thank you so much on behalf of myself and from the team at the Energy Hub, and we look forward to speaking with you real soon. Have a great day.